Welcome to the future of wellness, exploring self-transformation and holistic healing to unlock your inner potential. Hosted by Christabel Armston and Keith Parker.
Hello, everyone. Introducing Spotlight, a new series of short episodes that dive into core concepts, practical techniques, and emerging trends in holistic healing and self-transformation. Perfect for those seeking a dynamic dose of inspiration and information to elevate your well-being.
Exactly, looking forward to it today. Today, we're actually going to be addressing what is grounding. So, grounding, generally speaking, is the practice of connecting your physical body and energy field to the earth. So, we can think of it as helping to balance and stabilize our energy, helping us to feel more centered, present, and calm. Grounding is particularly useful when we're feeling overwhelmed, anxious, disconnected, for instance. It helps us really bring our focus back to the present moment and to the physical world.
Yeah, and also there is a science of grounding around, and it's easy to see this through the earthing community. It's the practice of earthing. There's been a lot of research
Hmm.
done into this. And basically, earthing is where you connect your body directly to the earth, which harnesses its natural electrical charge. So when you put your body in connection to the earth, this wonderful thing happens in which your body's bioelectrical system connects and has a circulation with the earth. And this has a bunch of health benefits, not surprising, right? Including reduced inflammation, improved
Hmm.
sleep, enhanced immune response, wound healing, even general mental well-being. So today, we're going to focus in on how grounding relates to the energy field or the aura.
Hmm.
And before we're done with this, we'll also provide everyone with some practical applications, some exercises that'll help you if you want to get more grounded.
So, a core concept in grounding that I think is really useful to open with, it often comes up with our clients and when we're in trainings, is this idea of ascension versus descension. So, we can think of the energy system as having a vertical flow of energy, right, which is going up and down. So, at the basics of that, we have the nadi sushumna, the central channel. That's the main vertical power current of the body. In addition to that, we have the secondary nadis there, Ida Pingala, creating the kundalini system. And we often think about the idea of ascension, right? In New Age, we often hear people talking about this idea of ascension. Raising your vibration is a favorite phrase, expanding consciousness. So there's a lot of celebration, I think, around the idea of going up. But we really want to consider this idea of what it is to come in, embodiment, or at least to, achieve a balance and harmony between the two. Because I think it's fair to say, right, that most people need to have a balance between these two things.
Yeah, there's, like you're saying, there is an overemphasis in a lot of spirituality communities in the idea of going up, expanding, but grounding is about coming down, and that's not a
Hmm.
bad thing.
Hmm.
That's about being here and now with your body right here as it is, connected to the earth and in this experience the way it is formatted right here where the action is happening. So grounding, when we improve our grounding, this is when we're bringing that emphasis to the downward flow. We're improving our somatic or bodily awareness. We're having embodiment and a connection to the physical.
Yeah. And people, a good question to consider is how might I know which way I have a leaning to, right? A propensity. We think of maybe people who are a bit more like Vata centric in their doshas, for instance, from the Ayurvedic principles, a little bit more airy, flighty. You can look out for things like being a bit more accident prone, spaced out, right? Someone's describing you as often spaced out or floaty, versus that
Yeah.
kind of more kappa mentality of being like heavier, denser, slower. And that's not to celebrate one over the other, but it's really useful to think about it from a constitutional perspective. Down is obviously not better than up and vice versa. Really important to understand that. Balance is the key here, as with so many things. But really nice to bring that approach to grounding because it can really help people situate themselves, I think, in a topic that can otherwise sound a little bit abstract.
Yeah, and furthermore, to for those interested in the ascending current, right, that which goes up, you really have a tough time ascending without groundedness.
Mhm.
So, in an integrative model in which there's balance as the theme and equanimity, then up and down are equally as important. And really, if you're really focused on that up stuff, that ascension stuff, you really got to get rooted. It's going to help you a whole lot. To go up, you must come down, or to go down, you also want to explore the up.
I like this new trend towards sort of somatic bodily embodiment. I think it's so crucial, particularly with energy healing and looking at the energy field, right? Expanded consciousness practices will often naturally navigate to those above the heart chakras, etc. And embodiment's really crucial to helping us really just get familiar with how that is working in day-to-day life.
A brief pause to thank you for listening to this episode. If you're looking to take the next step in your transformation, find out how we can support you with our popular energy healing training, one-to-one private sessions, free resources, and more. Visit energyfielddynamics.com to learn more.
That brings me to this idea, which I think is where our specialty lies and where we particularly enjoy speaking to people about how is it that grounding impacts or is related to the energy field, right? The aura.
It's really important to understand what this does to you in a certain sense, in a practical sense, and also in an energetic sense. One thing that really stands out is that it enhances your balance and stability. So when we're grounded, what happens on an energetic level is that the flow of energy in the field, because of the anchoring and the groundedness, things have something to kind of plug into at the bottom in the ground from the root chakra down into the earth.
Mm-hmm.
And so you have more stability in those lower frequencies is a way of thinking about it, and also an increased organization and coherency within the system.
Okay, so what we're effectively saying there, I think, is that it's really helping to aid in this idea of having a balanced and stable energetic flow, right, through the field. And I think that's really interesting in relation to this idea that we talk about and other holistic healers talk about, right, energy blocks. And this idea that if energy is becoming blocked, if we're not properly grounded, it does not flow through the field, the toroidal mechanics, then effectively we have areas that are stagnated, distorted, not in clarity, not in coherency. And that imbalance may manifest down the line from a field first model, as we'd say, in physical ailments, emotional disturbances, right? Mental duress.
Another major point would be energetic alignment.
Love that word.
Yeah, alignment, right? Energetic alignment. What does that mean? So obviously, like you might see a chiropractor and get a spinal or vertebral alignment. But when it comes to the energy field, alignment has to do with the central channel in the chakras as the core structure and the correlated structure to the spine. Your chakras are all along the central channel, the sushumna, as you said, the vertical axis of the field or the tube torus. And when you're grounded, that provides a center, a focal point at the root, such that all of the rest of the chakras in the energy flow can connect, align, communicate with the rest of them. So that's a key point.
It's nice. It's all about the root, right? I think that that's really worth flagging. The lower three chakras, yes, because they create that triad from which we develop and open the heart and move and ascend, if you will, to the upper chakras. But grounding is so beneficial for the root chakra, like Muladhara. We think about the themes, right? Pop psychology themes, if you will, of that chakra. We have survival, stability, connection to the earth. So when we're properly connecting through the root chakra and grounding there through the extension of the nadi sushumna, or some people prefer the term grounding cord, right? Dropping down between the legs, the knees, the feet. We're able to support the alignment of all the other sort of chakras that are sitting above that. It's really the foundation of our practice.
Yeah, and speaking of themes, chakra, pop psychology themes, the root chakra generally is associated with the idea of fear. So in a certain sense, it's like, think about it. If you're not comfortable being here in your body, connected to the earth, right, you kind of go up and out, right? You kind of leave the lower chakras, you become ungrounded, out of body, in your head, spaced out, disconnected, dissociated. And that's why grounding is so important.
Right. A key piece in trauma-informed healing, for instance, where we're particularly working with depth charges and things where in an original instance, somebody may have been drawn to go up and out and to, disconnect from what's happening in the present moment in order to encourage a feeling of survival or safety. While we're here at the root, I just want to mention the knees and the feet. Okay, feet, I think probably quite an obvious one for many people. What's the most popular grounding practice we hear? Get your feet right on the bare earth, on the soil, on the grass. So we have that contact with Gaia, with Earth's electrons. But the knees, I'd like to make a special mention because often when I'm working with clients, and this comes up a lot in training as well, the knees are really just crucial, vital points for the flow of energy or chi through the system. And I often find that bringing my attention in my own personal system as well there through the knees. So we're connecting to the pelvis and down through the knees and making that conscious connection to the feet and the downward flow out is really useful.
Yeah, the knees are a real test to one's grounding. It's one thing to look at your pelvis and the
Yeah.
root, but through the meridian system in particular, the expression is not so much at the core, but very much the meridian informs us a lot about the periphery in particular, and that being the kidney and bladder meridians here specifically. And those are the meridians most associated with grounding. And you mentioned the knees. And really, your bladder channel goes right through the center or the back of the leg. So it's very knee oriented in its core. And then
Yes.
the kidney is also very central, very kind of bone related down through the leg and through the ankle. And then the kidney channel is the one channel in all of the meridians that connects into the earth specifically, which is a perfect pivot to talk about the next thing in which grounding has to do with in your energy system, which is that it helps to release excessive energy. And
Uh-huh.
so your kidney channels, right, as a bioelectric kind of architecture, if you will, right, your kidney channels go into the earth, and whether it be the root chakra into the earth or the kidney channels into the earth, literally when you have excess energy, like
Overload.
yeah,
Yeah.
and in Chinese medicine, they're really great with yin and yang, right? Things are either excess or deficient. So when
Mhm.
you have excess energy, too much energy, that's not a good thing. You don't necessarily want, there is a thing called too much. And so that energy needs to circulate. It needs to have a way of discharging from the system. And when you're grounded, then things can be discharged.
Yeah. Immediately there, I'm being drawn to this idea of the phrase burnout, right? This idea of burnout through the system, just a phrase that comes to mind. We're often asked about improving sensing. It's a difficult topic to sort of say, here are some categorical things you can do that will help improve your sensing. But I do really think that grounding is actually a sort of sneaky way in there to improved ESP, right? Extrasensory perception, because when our energy field is grounded, we have clearer boundaries. This word coherency, this word alignment, really crucial. We're able to perceive subtle energies in a more heightened way because we're coming from that place of centeredness, that place of presence. And so not only are we enhancing our connection to our intuition, we're increasing that ability to listen deeply, I guess you might say, but also we're able to differentiate a little bit better what's going on between other and self and other in terms of our energetic boundaries and the dynamics that we're in constant energetic dynamic, right, with other people, other places. And so I do think it's fair to say that good grounding actually really helps build that ESP and our connection to it.
Absolutely. It's definitely an important piece in our sensing is to be grounded and embodied, to have a full spectrum of perception of what's happening.
I just want to add to that about the increased energetic resilience and boundaries because the two come together. A grounded energy field becomes stronger and more resilient over time. So there we can think about this resilience really helping to protect us, if that's as a weighted word to use, but to help sort of shield or protect us against energetic disturbances, and that's supporting our long-term energetic health.
Yeah, and the last one I'd love to cover here is about anchoring and integrating higher energies. So, a lot of people, we said that ascending versus descending currents, a lot of people who are emphasizing that expansion and ascension, that's great, that's
Hmm.
wonderful. Being able to actually anchor that through the body is absolutely critical. And we see this in Kundalini communities, Kundalini literature, this
Right.
idea that happens where we get these strange Kundalini syndrome phenomena where somebody
Hmm.
goes too far
Too
out,
far out.
maybe too fast, too much energy, too something, and
Hmm.
it disrupts the system a lot. And you
Hmm.
get these different artifacts under the heading of Kundalini syndrome. So when we're grounded, what happens is that that energy has a place to go that's down, and that's usually what is challenged mostly when people go really, really up and out.
So crucial. Practical tips. I just want to mention mindfulness as a day-to-day tool. Mindfulness of the lower body and bringing more and more attention to these areas we've discussed, your knees, your feet, your pelvis. Getting really familiar with that. What's happening when you're engaging with other people? If you're in a challenging dynamic, right? Maybe you're in conflict or a high anxiety scenario. What's it like to get the presence and attention in the pelvis? How does it feel? And how might that help bringing our focused attention to these areas? There's tremendous value in anchoring our pelvis and just spending a few minutes. And I like to do this in the morning on waking when we've spent time in that astral realm, right? The dream world, but really helping to anchor through the body. And that's a great day-to-day mindfulness piece that anybody can do anywhere, anytime.
You don't have to have it be strict meditation. It's just when you're walking around, when you're interacting with people, have that full body awareness and see that bring your attention to the lower half of the body, anchor it in the pelvis, and you're good to go. Another one is spending time in nature.
Yeah.
But just being in a natural environment, taking a walk in the woods or just out in nature, whatever it might be, whatever works for you, whatever you have available, nearby. But being in nature automatically harmonizes the energy system as a whole, and it creates a groundedness because follow the advice of the earthing people if you can, take your shoes off, get in the grass.
Yeah.
And spending time in nature really does help to ground your system and creates a wonderful harmonization.
So we might think of that as a lifestyle choice tip, right? Just building that time in daily, weekly, wherever we can. Final one, this is a self-practice piece. We always like to offer a self-practice piece, grounding meditation. Not to be underestimated, a guided meditation or a meditation practice that is specifically focused on the practice of grounding. So this can involve sitting quietly, focusing on the breath, visualizing your connection to Gaia, to the earth, imagining maybe the roots growing from the soles of the feet into the earth, and then just really connecting to the stabilizing energy field of Gaia and helping to release any of that excess, or maybe we might call it negative energy, but excess energy, imbalanced energy we discussed earlier on. And of course, we'll provide in the show notes a link to I think it's a short 7-8 minute guided grounding practice that will really help support your intentions to do just that.
Yeah. And along with that grounding meditation you mentioned, we'll also put in a link for a short talk on some other tips for grounding.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And in general, hopefully everybody enjoyed the information here about grounding. It is a really important subject. And also,
so much to say.
yeah, a lot. It's a big subject in general, one that people really need to work on for a long time. It's a lifetime endeavor to become more and more grounded. Also to seg into just saying, check out our Spotlight series as they keep coming out. This is a new format for us, and it's really enjoyable to be able to kind of just jump into a subject and, just get into it and keep it short, but keep it also useful.
Yep, do check it out. Much more to come. Thanks for being a part of the Future of Wellness. Be sure to subscribe and leave a review. It helps us reach more people and to make great episodes like this one. Learn more about field dynamics and why we think the future of wellness matters. Check us out at energyfielddynamics.com. See you next time.